Let's play a game. Let's play murder.
Alright, well that means it's time once again for Notes to Strike a Chord Live, episode 6, and we are continuing our look at what's in it for old packs as we build up the Sharn at the end of the month now. They're looking at like the last week. So then we can look at the content there and we can compare it to stuff old and new. Now, you may ask yourself, with so much new content coming out, and really hitting the level range is strong, do I need to get older quest packs? And I still say that the answer is yes. While I'm running around, I will be in the Restless Isles tonight. But we're not really looking at the Restless Isles, really. Not much cause to, because this was always kind of a loot dreary place. There's certainly a couple of neat things to get, but are they good enough to buy the pack? No, I don't have my Runar in charge. It's kind of fun doing this with all the black puddings. The key thing to remind yourself about older packs is that they kind of fit together over the years. So you weren't going to get, a whole gear set in one pack. You like Ravenloft as an expansion, you kind of got the whole kit and caboodle. Veil of Twilight was very much a weapons pack. You got Green Steel. But you didn't get much more than Green Steel. I mean, I don't think there was a single named item in all of the Veil. And no one considers it to be a bad pack. Well, see, now that's the trick. Is that I think for the value, Saradusk weapons are not half bad. They're certainly not as good as Random Gen, but they did enough, I thought, really to add to them. Whether it was a keen or a bleeding effect or anything like that, that in all honesty, a first lifer is not going to be slowed down that much by having one. Sickle's Cypheros has a red augment slot, and Frost is not bad. +3, that's not the worst. But like I said, the older packs, they kind of fit together over a year's schedule. So you get, the big pack would have all the weapons. So you'd have the Veil. And then, maybe a jewelry pack like in TOD. And then an armor pack like Reaver's Refuge. And then you would finally get, gear. There was some gear to be had in, say, IQ. And that was the key to everything, was that the packs fit together. But the problem is with the rise of expansions, people have kind of expected more. Where it kind of gives you like, maybe it's not the best gear or the best or most optimized gear. But now they expect a whole gear setup every pack, and then maybe it synergizes with another pack. And really, the last time we got that was Stardust Isle. They try to give you a little bit of something, something. That being said, as I went back over the Stardust Isle, it was one of the few they did change. And in all honesty, I think they did an okay job with it. It's not certainly overpowered, and it's not certainly going to be, endgame out there, but it's not bad. Oh, I probably did something wrong. Yeah, no, that's all right. Why is this all messed up? There it goes. Oh, am I going to recall because I got blinded? That's not that long. Or I'll just chillax. But the also problem is that now packs are kind of set up to give you the weapons you need at that moment. Whereas sometimes when they may change it, they bumped up the minimum level, so either you're past it or it's not useful to you now. Now, we're going to talk about the elephant in the room. And that is some gear upgrade paths are well past their prime. And I'm talking about, of course, as I mentioned last week, Shard, Seal, and Scrolls, and also the normal Hard Elite. It's, sometimes the wine sits in the cellar, it becomes fine, it ages beautifully, and sometimes it becomes vinegar. And the Scroll, Seal, Shard system, man, I would use that to clean out my carrying machine if I still had it. That's how vinegary it is. And, it's okay then for me to be a little salty about it, because then you get salt and vinegar, and that's good for your potato chips. That being said, obviously, what they need to do is get rid of it. What they could do, since a lot of people don't run those raids, is that, in the end chests of the raids or whatnot, there's a small amount of, maybe they can do what they did for the upper tier raids, for the lower tier raids, and then you can turn in that currency, and I wouldn't make it much. Like, maybe, I don't know. It would work on any tier, though, because, you can pretty much solo Demon Queen now. I mean, if you can't solo Demon Queen at level 30, one out of every 2 times, maybe you need to get good. Obviously, Vaughn's a lot harder because of the different mechanics, but I'm sorry, DQ is just a straightforward beatdown. And, you can certainly, we've certainly 2 and 3 manned it. We have 3 manned it in 4 minutes flat, so it's doable. So I would really recommend them, putting in that currency so that, you turn in that and you can upgrade 1 item. And I would probably put it at no more than 10, 15 at the most. I can run 15 DQs pretty quickly. And that way, even if you can't get a group together, you're not tied to having to do Tower of Despair Tower of Despair doesn't have any epic, so we don't need to worry about that. You're not tied to doing Vaughn or... I'm trying to think of what else, really. But you're not just tied to doing that. I mean, obviously, maybe you could have Vaughn drop more because you need more people. Which would be a good, DQ gives base, gives base units no matter what. 1, run it, 15 times. But Vaughn will drop 2 to 4 depending on difficulty. And that would replace the Shard and Scroll thing. and people would be able to upgrade their items better. I mean, I would love to finally see a Ring of Spell Storing and another Ring of Spell Storing before I or DDO crawl off this mortal coil. No, I shouldn't have mentioned coil. Oh, the Fens, right, the Fens gear. Now, the other problem tied with that, of course, I'm bringing up Demon Queen. More so, you need to get them out of the raid, so you can't, there's no raid for the Fens, so obviously you get your gear from, or your upgrade tokens from doing Demon Queen. The reason why I bring up Demon Queen is because we're going back to old packs, and I'm finding that one of the packs whose name gear has not aged well is Menectaran. The Dynastic Falcata is a +3 Law Falcon, or I'm sorry, Kopesh. Unless you're fighting Drow, and even when you're fighting Drow, there's lots better options. And it's garbage. Upgrade that thing. Give it a bleeding or a hemorrhaging. It would fit with the theme. Because it doesn't do much against mummies, but when you leave and you go on to, you go back to the Jungle of Kyber or on to fight the Lords of Dust, you're going to want that hemorrhaging weapon. I guarantee. Obviously all the armors need to be redone. All of them. They have to be redone. I'm sorry, each and every one of them is so inferior to not Menectaran, but Ravenloft armor. And I'm talking about all the way up to level 27. Don't nerf Ravenloft armor. Power creep is taking the point where we needed Ravenloft armor in some packs. I feel now with Ravenloft armor, I am man enough to go out and do Shavarath quests at level. Don't take away my armor. With that also being said, you've got to give me more options. Upgrade the older armors. You don't have to upgrade all of them. I understand some of them just have to blow. And there's got to be crazy experimental armor, I guess. That's the way I look at it. There's always room for that. Maybe somebody actually has a build that will need that weird thing that you put on the armor, and that's great. I used to get a kick out of using mummy wrappings for the fear effect, and all my friends didn't, because they're all like, oh, they hit you, and then they would run away. And I'm all like, yes. And that's good for me, your cleric, because now they're running away from me. I don't care if you have to chase them down, I want them to stop hitting me. And they are. But as a whole, taken as a whole, most of the Menectaran items are just meh. I'm not going to go through all of them because I think I kind of already have. But we can hit the highlights. I mean, back in the day when, DR was super hard to get and seriously a good thing to try to get. Golden Greaves were a really nice thing to get. Why is that modding? No! Oh, the Golden Greaves were really great. They were +3 DR and you got 15% run speed. But I remember saying this. You need to make that, attack speed and everything. You need to make it a speed effect. Where am I? Going this way. Right? Yeah, I'm going this way. I got it right! Thorn Lord. Yes, that's always been a good thing. I'm not exactly too sure what the Thorn Lord has on it. I don't remember. But I remember it used to be a big kick back in the day, but nobody uses it anymore. So let's take a look at, well, you know, like I said, the biggest problem they have is shard seals and scrolls. And in all honesty, the only pack I ever thought they had a good balanced drop rate for them was Fairlane Carnival. I'm still hunting. I never get any shards from Red Fence. I don't. I can run into the deep on Heroic, or I'm sorry, Epic Hard or even Epic Elite, and we won't pull jack. I think I was able to upgrade the old Siren's Charm once, and I don't use it. But that's all also old level 20 gear. Is it relevant in today's game, even when we talk about, you know, just like I've hit my, you know, I finished my road back to 20, and I needed to get, you know, I needed to get my level 20, my epic gear on. In all honesty, the answers kept coming back to me as the gear's just not that great. A couple of exceptions. I mean, obviously, the Ring of Spell Storing. But even then, I'm thinking that even the Ring of Spell Storing is selling more for the niftiness value rather than its true effectiveness. Really? You found getting the Bronze Spirit Seal was hard? I didn't. That's why I have two upgraded. I have one on Zathras and one on Ziggy. I think I've upgraded almost every single piece out of Fairlane Carnival, actually, to tell you the truth. Zathras has Bronze Spirits and a Antique Great Axe. Chernenko has Epic Full Plate of the Ringleader. For me, the one that's really, the one that's beating me up is the, what was it? It was the Tower Shield. Yeah, the Tower Shield from Caught in the Web. In all honesty, I really hate grinding for shields, seals, and shards in Caught in the Web because I love the quest, but it's just kind of a long mechanic to do. I mean, I find Big Top seems easier. I don't want to say that. I don't know. Big Top just seems quicker, and I don't know if that's just because the action is more consistent or less annoying or tastes great or is less filling. I don't know. I've never went after Crossnacks. I'll admit that. I had everything ready to upgrade a Templar's Retribution before I pulled my first Templar's Retribution, though. That was annoying. I really wanted that Bastard Sword. I used Bastard Swords. And then I upgraded it, and it wasn't all that, which was a little disappointing. It was okay. But, you know, let's be honest, Celestia and Nightmare are so much better, and you get them fairly quickly. Um, as far as that goes, it is what it is, I suppose. It just didn't feel like a level 20 weapon. Now we're gonna get back to the problem here now. And the other elephant that's in the room really is Ravenloft. Ravenloft set a new standard for power, and it starts at level 10. And therefore, anything after Ravenloft that has old power stylings is just so totally off the board now that it's hard to justify in many ways the expense of buying some of the packs, especially at level 10. You're not gonna want to go do Thrunel for Atonement. Who cares about a plus for true holy sword with a red augment slot? No one. They give you a better one. I guess I can just take it since I'm here. I'm not here to do quests. But you're gonna play things like Thrunel for, I would even say XP. There's some good XP in Thrunel. Let's go ahead. You can do it for Thrunel. For XP, you can do it for favor, but you can't do it for gear unless you need Mantle of the World Shaper. And most people are not even going to need that except to use for Master's Gift. It is. It's just what it is. And so they're not going to sell as well. Where am I? Okay. And not everybody has every pack. And I get the fact that, it's like they represent an investment. And they represent all the time there. And there's the idea is that they are meant to be like that for the life cycle of the entire game. But I'm going to disagree with that. I'm going to say they're there for the life cycle of the pack. A pack needs to have a life cycle where you sell it, and then when it becomes obsolete and you don't upgrade it, you give it away for free. Stardust Isle got an upgrade, and as much as I'd like to see Stardust be the first one released to free-to-play status, I can understand why it's not. It's one of the more recent upgrades where they did an upgrade, other than just add an augment slot. But like I said, everything before Ravenloft, maybe you don't touch. I mean, the level 2 weapons, even though you're playing at level, I play them at level 6 in Sharn Syndicate. The level 2 weapons are great for your second life if you're not a crafter. Second life plus. The problem is that, like I said, most people play them at level, and they play them at the level that they are running them. So if you're doing level 2 quests, you're running them probably at level 4. Probably. Now, that's not a guarantee. I'd go kill all those things if I had an idol, but I don't. I haven't done these quests. All I know is that usually when I'm on my elite streak, I'm eliteing at the level of the quest on elite, not the level of the quest on. I'm not trying to do it like absolute match where I'm doing level 2s on elite as a level 2. Admittedly, I am allowed that luxury because I do have all the packs. But even then, that being said, your first quest pack that's not free to play is free. And after that, there's a big bulwark at 4 where you have to buy Sharn and Shanakor. Oh, no problem, Thoughtgore. Like I said, you're so much of a regular, I wasn't going to do the re-roll. I figured you probably got into a quest yourself. I saw a note. I thought it was actually a joke, but I took you seriously. I figured you probably just got into a quest, and I wasn't going to deny you your code. So, you know, my regulars, I take care of you. You know, and if you want to become a regular, stop by. Oh, I do have to say, we haven't made much on the whole stream donations list, but we did get a donation, and I'd like to thank Demetrius for that. And thank you so very much. That was awesome of you. And I know I've got to get creative and get rewards and everything for you guys. I mean, I try to give info. My background is in not deep knowledge of whatever I study, whether it's geography and history for serious reasons, and then for funsies, I mean, I used to be the walking Star Trek encyclopedia. Oh, wow, okay, thank you, Trilogy. Appreciate the bitties. Woohoo! We're gonna go off. That's so nice. Yeah, I know. And I needed to be more regular. And I think that the time has come to realize that I'm not really one of those variety streamers. I like a variety of games. And in all honesty, there are a couple of games I would love to stream, but I don't even own them. Most notably being Bard's Tale 4. That being said, I've heard some stuff where it says, I'm going to enjoy Bard's Tale 4, but oh boy, nobody's going to want to watch me stream it. That being said, like I said, I have accumulated a lot of deep knowledge in Dungeons & Dragons Online. It's taken me a long time to do it. Don't get me wrong, this didn't come easy for me. I only made the decision a couple of years ago to really, you know, the old saying, get good, right? But I have learned a lot of the lore. I went in and I started studying the lore of Eberron and how the devs tried to translate that from a pen and paper game out here into this virtual world we share. But that being said, I'm also here to look at the business practices friendly. I'm going to be friendly to SSG because I do think they do a good job with the property. But it is still a critical one because as great as it is that they're putting out tons of new content and everything, I think one of the huge selling points of the game is how vast it really is. People think, well, if I want a big game, I need a big open world, and I need to do Lotro, or I need to do WoW. And I'm all like saying, no, you don't. Because of the TR system, even if you do only every quest once, and there are 492 plus of them now, and we're not talking about, like, take this missive to Jack, and Jack is right across the street. Matter of fact, this game pokes fun of that in Memories of an Illusionary Larcener. Now, there are some quests which are... The only quest I can think of that is so super short that it reminds me of a WoW quest or a Lotro quest is Haberdashers, where it's kill 10 scorpions. And of course we have that in the wilderness adventure areas too. But the thing about Dungeons & Dragons Online is that every quest is more like... would be a quest chain in Lotro, would be a quest chain in WoW. Only since it's all instance, you don't break it up. And that was a hell of a tangent I just went on. But hey, you know what? All my life's a circle. Those of you who know Harry Chapin were really impressed with that joke, which means nobody was. Because Bach's not here. Bach would have got that one. So let's get back to, like I said, we need to upgrade the items and keep them relevant. And we don't need to necessarily make them as powerful as Ravenloft items, but we do need to make them relevant. And whether that's with clickies or with, just simple upgrades, or with just taking a look at where they fit in the grand scheme of things. Oh man, we've got one of our guild mates is timed out. I wonder if it's Weiss. Let's take a look. Who is timed out? No, really? It's me? It's my other account? Oh, the horror! It's me! I'm the fault! I am wrong! Oh my god, so embarrassing. I'm costing our guild renown! The horror. Yeah, well, that's the other option, making it cheap. But I'd rather them take. I don't know how long it takes to recode an item. I could probably ask Jerry or Steelstar or whatnot. How long does it take to code an item? I don't know. Or recode an item, because maybe you have to make it brand new so you don't override everybody else's ones, or if you do, maybe because since they already have augment slots, they'll kill augments or whatnot. I don't know. I'd rather be good than cheap. I would really, I don't like the idea of Stardust Isle being 100 DDO points if it doesn't have to be. I would like them to make money. But if they're going to make money off the old stuff, they need to keep the old stuff relevant. So that's going to talk about the other big problem in this room. This is my huge beef. You cannot leave broken stuff broken, especially if it is gear. And I am looking directly at Tower of Despair. Tower of Despair has not been upgraded, but when they switched over hand wraps to from unarmed fighting to having the ability as a weapon, they broke the monk rings. And they don't work. To this day, they do. You get them, they're a nice shiny named item, and they do nothing. They are beer goggles. The goggles, they do nothing. And that's just not cool. You cannot leave an item broken, even if you totally change the mechanics that run them. It's just, well, people are gonna, it's not even so much a sloppy. Maybe it was an unintended thing, but people are gonna read the forums, or they're gonna, yeah. Yeah, see, you can't. I could not. Thotgor, I understand. I'm glad you were able to do it. My wife will keep her monk rings until they turn out the lights. And she will tell you long, loud, and proud how shitty it is that they don't work. Now, I would love to see Tower of Despair gear get totally revamped, even if they change them so they're not broken. If there was a reason to go in and you manage to put all those effects with a new style. Even if you had to grind them over, or better yet, do a turn-in system where you take the old one, you put it in the little machine, it goes whir, and you get a brand new style TOD ring that actually works. Woo! Woo! They've done that before. They did that in the Necropolis. That's what that little dealie is for, that little fountain. Looks like the chocolate fountain of evil. Fix the Tower of Despair. It is a fantastic raid. It's so much better than Dawn of Justice, or whatever it's called. I know, I'll never remember that. I hate that raid. DOJ. I call it Dawn of Justice because I literally cannot be bothered to remember what its real name is. Literally. You can tell me right now, I guarantee you, by the time I go to sleep, I'll have forgotten the name. Defiler. Defiler of the Just. Okay, so I can remember it, but it takes a lot of brain power. Brain meats have to work. That being said, nobody runs TOD anymore. And why should they? You get a monk ring and it's not going to work. And that's really bad. More so if you're looking for the monk ring. I don't know. Like I said, we gotta stay relevant. But believe it or not, Shavarath ain't the worst. Shavarath ain't the worst. The worst is Reaver's Refuge. The worst is Dragon Touched Armor. It is a amazingly flexible system that used to be the end all be all end game wonder bar must have. Everybody looked like a postal worker back in the day armor. Now the armor is embarrassingly bad. And I'm not talking about the effects. Some of the effects are still amazing. But the base armor is like wearing nothing. You might as well be wearing a postal uniform. And I would like, and I'm going to be honest here, they are my favorite, some of my favorite quests in the game. I cannot imagine this game without Reaver's Refuge, because the 4 quests out there are so amazingly different, with fantastic mechanics that need to be put back in the game. The random maze in Prey on the Hunter, the light puzzle in the Cobalt, the multi-layer build of Monastery of the Scorpion, and finally, just the sense of having to go through it all to fight Swordjack. You're talking about the Reaver's Refuge armor? I kind of like the look of it. I didn't like the light armor. The light armor was kind of... But the medium armor, I thought was fantastically good looking. To the point where I actually, since it was only 2 points difference, my cleric wore the medium and got it back with dodge bonus with gear rather than wear the heavy. I was able to get +1 on the medium. Yeah, the light armor was, but the medium and the heavy armors, very good. I don't remember the robe or the outfit. I'd have to check in with the wife with that. Oh, yeah, okay, so I'm going up. Now, that's not to say everything has been all doom and gloom. Oh, I'm wearing. We're, I was gonna do like artificer things, but I'm not an artificer. So that does mean I have to drag. Like I said, the few times they did try to truly upgrade the armor or the items, I think they did a pretty good job. When you look at Sorrow Dust, now they're still on the lower side of things, but they are all the upgrades they made were just all so darn relevant. You know, a little tweak here, an augment there. Everything got a little something in addition to the augment. And in all honesty, that when I went back through it, if I was not a crafter, there are a couple of things that I would reliably get out of Stardust Isle. Mummified Bat. It was mentioned. It's a good item. There are a couple of weapons out there. There's a really nice quarterstaff out there. So I think going back and just, if you're not going to tweak the items, then I don't know what else you can do. I mean, you could make crafting easier, but that doesn't really apply to selling packs for items. So the other problem I mentioned is the problem of having, in today's gear structure, the old normal, hard, and elite items. And I think they need to just get rid of them all. Make everything epic elite. Don't get rid of it. Just get rid of it, and make the items the epic elite versions, and have them drop at reasonable rates, like hardly ever on epic normal. Now, the big problem with that idea, of course, is I don't know how many of you that are watching that actually go in and farm epic normal for named items at level 23 to 25 to feed to your sentient weapons. I'm guilty. Most of my weapons have been brought up and fed on 100% all natural epic normal items, where I just run the sagas for guild renown or Destiny XP, and then all the items just go straight into the shared bank and get fed to the sentient weapon of the day. A lot of people out there were all like, well, you have my rose-colored glasses. I can't grind out all that XP in just doing the anniversary event. And I'm all like, it's not hard to get other ones. Every time I go out and just do this, I can do the storm horns. And in an hour and a half, pick up 5 level 25 plus items. And I get Destiny XP, or I get XP, or if I'm doing the sagas, I get guild renown. And I'm fine. I'm cool with that. But, obviously then if I take away epic normal items, you can't do that fast. Then you gotta do it on epic elite to get that same drop rate. That's slower than, I don't care how good you are. EE is much slower than EN. Even if you have Der Uber killing one, because even if you do that, then you're probably one-shotting everything on epic normal, and then you're going to be, even if it takes you 2 shots for everything, that's twice as long to kill everything. I mean, it just is. So we come to the idea, are older packs still worth it? And and I'm sitting here weighing. Obviously, any pack that features an epic level segment is still relevant, even just to provide just some sort of differentiation at the top level. Even if you're level 30 hard cap, you know, maybe you and your buddy still can find a little bit of a challenge duoing EE Whiz King. But then we come to these quest packs that do not have an epic contingent. We come to things like Shanakor, or we come to Restless Isles. And because there's no good gear, even for a TR, there's no incentive to run it other than shits and giggles. Obviously, people still kind of grind out a little bit of Restless Isles to get either the Ring of the Ancestors or the Royal Guard Mask. Both wonderful items. But see, that's where they come in and they're unique. They offer something like the Visor of the Fleshrender Guards. They offer that unique clicky, whether it's Raise Dead or it's Teleport or it's Death Ward. Something everybody can use, and it doesn't have a UMD value because it's a clicky. It gives you something, and even if they went back and added, I would dare say, add one item like that to every quest line. I would add one item for every 2 quests in the quest line. Maybe even make them drop in either or of the quests. And provide that. Maybe it's a... I'm sorry. Just those neat things that would be nice to have that other class gives. You know, my favorite idea is... And let's see how many people out here would like this. Alright? You know, even if you're watching later, comment. I'll find it in here. Would you like a deadly... you have a bracer with a deadly weapons cookie on it, so you can get deadly weapons on and offhand. 5 minutes, 1 a day. A displacement cookie. Yeah, displacement you can get on an item. I'm talking about a clicky. Something you can't get on an item. I can see the use for displacement on the clicky sometimes, but I like the idea of just displacement being on the item. They'd have that. But imagine that, deadly weapons, clicky. So you got on a bracer, and so you don't have an artificer, and you don't want to use a scroll because you got to use a scroll in your on hand, and you don't want to do all the swapping. 5 minute, one per rest. Deadly weapons, clicky. Insightful strikes for wizards. Displacement. Yeah, we do displacement, but not the world. Displacement you get so many other ways. I'm going to switch characters here for a moment. We're going to go over to red. No, better yet, we'll go to Glyn. I gotta log on to Glyn anyway. That, and I never mind showing off this armor. I love this armor. else would be good as a clicky? I don't know. I wish they had me a radiant burst clicky. That'd be pretty cool. Alright, I have one in here. Where is it? No, I rarely ever throw anything away. I remember when I used to be running a bulwark of the Storm's Fist. Oh, I do have a lot. Oh, good. I put them on Kyber for a reason. Or Argo. There's my sad Ring of Spell Storing, never to be upgraded. Even though I can get a million of these, I still have this. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. Oh, heck yeah. You put that on a clicky. I guarantee you people, you can put it at the rate of Jack Dribber's draw. And people will farm the crap out of that. Now I got invited to do an R7 on my first live cleric that really doesn't have really great gear. He had the best gear for 3 years ago. I got a necklace of Mystic Idalians, Epic Minus Legions. It's all his own gear. It's strictly for him, and it's nowadays it's a little dated. I mean, I should have the Healing Hands of House Churrasco and all that good stuff. But what we're going to take a look here really is at how far power creep is coming. And in all honesty, they've done a good job on power creep because it has been slow. And we can put it, and we can pretty much do this right here, right now. And we can take a look at these 3 items. And you know what? I'll turn off my armor. So, I'm going to fix this anyway. When we look at, we got 3 different types of armor here. Pre-epic, epic, and legendary. And I know that there are different levels, but when we take a look at level 16 armor, we're at 16 armor, and we're at 24. And that gives us a ratio of about 1.5 for armor to level for the Dragon Dredge breastplate. Let's see if it looks as good as I remember it. Here's the one with the little shit. Oh yeah, that's good stuff. I like this. I always have. It looks better than the heavy because the heavy looks more postal. I just love the look of this. Oh, I forgot about that. So, let's see if this works. I gotta turn this on really quick. I forgot that my keypad controls that. I'll change it. No, I have to be in this.
Garibaldi's Fashion Express, go. Garibaldi's Fashion Express, go.
Okay, so it's still not working right. I gotta figure out how to make sure that it reads the keybinds. But I'm trying to set up a soundboard for fun stuff like that. Oh, one day. One day. Alright, so next up we have the Cormarian Green Dragon Plate Armor, and it is 23 to 32. And it's a medium armor. Oh no, it's a heavy armor. Okay, so we should be doing better at this, but we're really not. Because this actually is an inferior armor. Look at this. Level to damage ratio is only about 1.25. And its fashion sense, well, as the old saying goes, at least it's symmetrical. We get to the Barovian ones, and we've got 29 to 47, and that's nearly 2 to 1. 30 to 47, that's 30, about 30 to about 40. Maybe if it's 45, we go down, and we've got a remarkable, what, 3, 4 to 2? No, 2 to 3. 3 to 2 ratio. We're back up to 1.5. But I guarantee you that older armors are not going to have this kind of protection. So even then, I did the math, and I'm coming up with numbers that just aren't showing what I expected them to show. The problem is when you compare it to heroic Barovian armor. Heroic Barovian armor, we're talking about these kind of numbers already. We're talking about, maybe not 32, but we're talking about 30s. At level 10. And I think that's good. We needed it for quests like, well, New Shavrath, the Codex quests. They all kind of upped the ante, and I know part of that was to encourage grouping, but I'm going to be honest here with you guys. Without gear to boost looting, you know, upping drop rates on EE for, you know, elite gear, I think that's the best way to encourage grouping, because people are going to want that. They're going to be doing like, okay, we need, you know, let's take Thagor's example. We're going to need Displaced Clicky for dropping from Chains of Flame. Heroic Elite Run. And maybe if they can find a way to code it, maybe put a little bit of a bonus for doing it at level, so you don't try to grind it on Heroic. You know, because I can grind anyhow. Part of the reason why I've got more on Argo from the heroic side of Ravenloft is because I have been grinding over there, not for gear, but I've been grinding the Saga for Guild Renown. And I think it's a perfectly valid thing to do. But also, I think all the gear I'm getting over there is a little bit on the chintzy side, because I am kind of, you know, I'm doing these on level 30s. It's not like it's a challenge. Why should I be getting gear? Maybe put a little bit of a penalty that way. I don't know. These are just ideas. What do I give up with this? Acid absorption, vitality, and resistance. So I need all of those back. And of course, power store is the reason why I wanted it. But obviously, I'm going to want all that other stuff. So odds are my Cormarian Armor's days are numbered because I do have a set. If I got the Healing Hands of House Jurassic, even for Glyn, there's probably no way I'm going to be continuing on. Now, those of you who do watch my fashion show, you wonder about me talking about the neck item right there. It is. This is with the full set.
Garibaldi's Fashion
Along
Express.
with a base that no longer appears in the game. That right there, my friends, is just one darn good-looking armor. Alright, with that, I will open it up to any and all questions. I know ThoughtGuard's been out there. If you've got any questions you'd like to ask me, I would love to hear from you. If I don't get any questions by 8:35, I'm going to wrap up the stream. Yay! You got about 5 minutes to get some questions in. I'll talk as long as I can. It'll be a 5-minute extension after every question. If not, I am going to play some Rocket League. I think next week I will wrap up my look at older packs by comparing them to newer packs. We'll do the old versus new, and then by then I think we'll be ready to move on to a little bit of me talking about Sharn. Haven't looked at it. I refuse to do previews, ThoughtGuard. I do. I like to hit the ground running. But I am anticipating Sharn gear to be really super strong because Ravenloft gear was strong. And this is another expansion pack. I really expect great things out of it. I expect it, though, to basically be shuffled around in a way that it allows you to make different combinations with Ravenloft gear to maybe start perfecting some specialist builds. Maybe you can like get items that have enchantment bonus and insightful enchantment bonus to really pump up crowd control, or putting it's all about. I think Sharn gear is going to be all about creating, rather than being a complete set like Ravenloft was, where it was obvious that you were supposed to put some of these sets together to achieve certain things. I think Sharn's going to be very powerful gear, but it's going to be very synergistic with Ravenloft gear. So you're not going to build a full Sharn set. You're going to use it in ways to supplement with your Ravenloft items to get really tremendously powerful. That's how I would have designed it. I mean, we already have a great set of base gear in Ravenloft. Now it's about giving us another whole set of items which go, all right, you need these 3 items for mages with your Ravenloft build, or you need these 3 items for, and we saw a little bit of an Age of Rage with like the Healing Hands of House Jurassic. That's obviously a cleric or a healing amp item. If you're building for healing amp, you want that. And the Ravenloft set was so flexible, it's easy to slot it in. I think that's why they gave you a full set of helms in Age of Rage. Kind of a teaser of what Sharn was going to be about, where as a whole, none of those helms were, knock your socks off. But what was really amazing about it is you got one for every stat. And that really, really gave you ways to synergize or switch around or find that niche item that would help you complete your build. You need this one really great item, but it's on a cloak. So where am I going to put my charisma? Oh, I can just throw it on the brain bucket. If I got the think the Drow Mask was the charisma item. So now we're getting to the point where it's like, what can I, it's not where I need to collect, not like I've been doing, where I need to collect all the Ravenloft gear. No. What it's going to be is going to be, hey, if I have like multiple tunes and I have different ones, what am I going to need for each one out of Sharn? Or if I only have one tune, I'll be able to be a lot more specific in my gear grinding. But I'll come out so much far ahead. It's going to be worth it. And maybe one or two of those items are in an end chain or a cap quest, so I'll need to go through all the content to get to it, at least once. So I'm really looking forward to that. Now, the other question I have about Sharn is, are some of those items going to be hidden inside the new type wilderness adventure zones? Because they've been teasing about that now. And whether or not, where these items are going to drop are almost important as what they are. The biggest problem they've had in the past were all the, admittedly, all the super best items have been in raids, but that makes them hard to get because not all of us can hit the times, or maybe, I've fallen out of raiding so much, it takes me a while for me to get good again. Even healing. But Ravenloft gave us the ability to be actually prepared for the raids, and then the raids gave us those one or two items which would enhance our build and take it to the next level. And I think that's a better way of doing it, because in the past you look at it and it's all like, well, you need a green steel item, so you have to do the shroud, but we're not going to need the shroud unless you have a DR breaker, and you can't be, and this is back in the way days. But then you didn't have a DR breaker, you had to spend a lot of money on the auction house, or you had a craft. And then basically you're all doing that to get the same DR breaker out of the shroud, where you're getting a metalline item, or a mineral, the Min 2 or the Lit 2 weapon out of the shroud, so you didn't have to use your cheap one anymore. That boggles the mind nowadays. Ravenloft gave you the tools to do Strahd and Baba Yaga, and then allowed Strahd and Baba Yaga gear to take you to the next level. And I think that's good, because I can go in on Alice thing, First Life, and CC, Spellsinger Bard, and I can, with Ravenloft gear, I can get through it. I'm not saying it's easy, but I was in an epic hard Strahd. I got in. Now, if I was able to get 2 pieces of gear from Strahd and Baba Yaga, I could be so much better. Would it be easy? No. But would it be easier? Oh, yeah. You betcha. I would love to get that Bastard Sword on all of my Bastard Sword weaving characters, and if you know me, that's like 80% of them. That's a lot of Strahds to do. But we're not back in the old days where it's all like, do you have this one little item that you need to be able to do this quest, and you're going to do this raid, only to get another item just like that, only a little bit better. Thank goodness that the Shroud was a fun raid to do. Because literally, I can't imagine doing it for gear. I can't. I mean, nowadays it's not that big of a deal, and it's good to get a level 11 green steel weapon. It's still good to have that. I mean, even with crafting, there's a little bit of advantage to having the green steel weapons. But as endgame, now, no. No, certainly not. It just would drive me insane. That's a lot of people looking at the auction house. That's like the most people I've ever seen looking at it. Is there something really good in here? Invisible mini stalker for 50, but I already have one. Black Stripe Pseudo Dragon certificate, but I think I already have one. I have the black stripe or I have the tan stripe. I want to buy that black stripe instead. I don't see mine. Oh, there it is. Tan stripe, black stripe. I think I've got enough. Yeah, I'm doing good. Let's buy that. So I made 45 off me. I'm good with about 50 Astral Shards for a creature companion. That's good. Still collecting. Put it in the stable. Will they see you very soon? What's this? Oh, I haven't opened my fan bundle. Not Glyn. I'll have to come up with a name for him. I'll think about that later. Alright then, I think I'm going to call it. We'll go to the end of the screen page. Alright, well, thanks for watching, even if you're watching this on a VOD later, and I will upload this to YouTube so we can put that up in the archive section under Notes to Strike a Chord. Right down there at CavalierCavalry.com. And you can follow me at the Twitter Alice thing, or on Twitter at the Cat Alice thing. You can follow me on Facebook up there at Glyn's Arcade, and of course you're watching here on twitch.tv/DougGlendauer. Now remember, we're still trying to, recoup our expenses because I did get laid off from one job, and I found one relatively quickly, but it was 7 weeks without work. And so any donations right down there where Don't Let This Bard Go Sober, you can donate down there. And all donations, great or small, are appreciated. And with that, I hope to see you here next Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Time. And until then, I wish you all peace and good questing. Good night.